operator training program for the skid steer loader. The intent and purpose of this training program is to demonstrate that safety plus efficiency equals productivity. A good number of experienced employees here at the Melro Company have contributed ideas and facts on some of the more important skid steer operating fundamentals to help achieve our goal. In 1958, the Melro Company revolutionized the way the world worked with the introduction of the M200 self-propelled loader. Melro engineers, not satisfied with the M200, went back to the drawing board and created the world's first skid steer loader, the M400. That first skid steer loader was the granddaddy of the world-famous Bobcat, which became the loader's trademark in 1962. The company founder, E.G. Melro, was a born inventor who was never quite satisfied with the status quo. The company that now bears his name continues to reflect his innovative attitude. The Melro Company has accumulated over 30 years of research and development to provide the world with the best skid steer loader available. Tied to that commitment is an unending effort to provide information and training on the safe and efficient operation of the skid steer loader. Well, keeping true to E.G. Melro's philosophy, the Bobcat skid steer loader has never stopped changing. Different models have been introduced to meet the needs of specific industries around the world. The Melro Company may be known as a company of change, but one thing that hasn't changed since the company's inception is Melro's commitment to quality, workmanship, and operator safety. Before we dive into this program, let's define what a skid steer loader is. Skid steer loaders are self-propelled machines that are unique in their compact, rugged, and highly maneuverable design. Equipped with four-wheel drive, the skid steer loader has two independent transmissions, one to power the left wheels and one to power the right. This design permits independent control of left and right side wheel speed and direction of wheel rotation. It's this kind of independent control that causes the loader to skid steer. Because of this design, skid steer loaders are known for their ability to turn in their own tracks, which makes them extremely valuable for applications requiring a compact and agile machine. It's been said that a skid steer loader can do just about anything a man can do, but it needs a trained operator to do it safely and efficiently. These loaders have gained a reputation, and deservedly so, as the most productive machines capable of performing in a wide variety of applications and conditions. But like every machine, the skid steer loader is only as productive as the operator allows it to be. In order to achieve our goals of safety, efficiency, and productivity, we need to understand some of the design principles used in the development of the skid steer loader. These principles are what make the skid steer loader unique and able to perform as no other machine can. We know that the two independent transmissions give the loader the ability to skid steer. But how did Melro engineers provide this capability with minimal power and tread wear? And how did they keep the machine so compact when it carries two transmissions? During the design phase, engineers studied the ratio between tread width and wheelbase. Tread width is the distance from the center line of the tires measured from one side of the loader to the other. Wheelbase is the distance from the center line of the tires measured from front to rear. The relationship between the two measurements is critical to skid steer performance. Melro's years of research have led to what is called an optimum tread width to wheelbase ratio. The optimum tread width to wheelbase ratio enables a properly designed skid steer loader to turn without consuming excess engine power or adding to tire wear. Balance is another important ingredient that must be added to the design recipe for stability and turning capability. Melro engineers designed Bobcat skid steer loaders with unequal loading between the front and rear axles. Bobcat loaders use a weight distribution of about 70% to 30%. For example, with no load on the bucket, about 70% of the machine's weight is on the rear axles, while 30% is on the front axles. With most of the load on the rear axles, the machine easily pivots or turns on the rear wheels. With a load in the bucket, this ratio reverses. Most of the load is now on the front axles. The front axles now become the pivot point for turning. If you stand flat-footed, with your weight spread evenly on the heel and toe, it is very difficult to turn or pivot your feet side to side. If you were to put most of your weight on the heel, it becomes easier to move. The same is true of putting most of your weight on the ball of your foot. You might say it comes natural. Bobcat skid steer loaders operate on this very principle. Skid steer turning is only one feature of the skid steer loader. It's what makes it agile. We need to discuss the rated operating capacity of the loader. How much will it safely lift? The SAE guidelines for establishing rated operating capacity state that no more than 50% of the tipping load should be declared as the rated operating capacity. The maximum load that a skid steer loader can lift should not be confused with the rated operating capacity. For example, the tipping load for a 753 Bobcat loader is 2,600 pounds, or 1,179 kilograms. Take half of that, and you arrive at the rated operating capacity of 1,300 pounds, or 590 kilograms. Obviously, tipping load should not be used to measure the loader's ability to do work. Rated operating capacity is used because it reflects the load that a skid steer loader can handle safely under normal operating conditions. Here's your first safety tip. Never modify your loader. If non-approved counterweights are added, if tires are overinflated, or non-approved attachments are used, the rated operating capacity can be dramatically affected. The drive system of the Bobcat skid steer loader, and most skid steer loaders on the market, is based on a hydrostatic transmission. The beauty of hydrostatics is that it allows the operator to control each side of the loader independently and with precision. A hydrostatic transmission is based on transferring power by means of a fluid rather than mechanical means like gears and clutches. A hydrostatic pump, driven by the engine, controls oil flow to a hydrostatic motor. The greater the oil flow to the motor, the faster the motor shaft spins, and the faster the motor shaft spins, the faster the wheels turn. The pump also has the ability to reverse flow to the motor, making the motor turn backwards, and thus the wheels to turn backwards. The most important aspect of hydrostatics, for you as the operator, is that every action has a precise reaction. The loader will react the moment you move the steering levers forward or rearward. Maintenance is another important aspect of the design. Melro makes every attempt to simplify the daily maintenance process by having daily checks and service items easy to get at. The radiator on a Bobcat loader is located above the engine so that it does not block access to the engine. Easy access to the engine and other components makes servicing the Bobcat a lot easier. Other maintenance items, which are not part of daily maintenance, are also easily reached by tipping the cab to the rear. Place a jack stand under the rear frame, remove 2 nuts, and tip the cab to the rear. As we all know, the easier something is to do, the more likely we are to do it. At Melro, we want to make maintenance as easy as possible because a well-maintained machine is important for safe and efficient operation. Now that we've covered the design principles which affect you directly as an operator, let's look at the controls of the Bobcat skid steer loader. Understanding the controls and indicators and knowing where they are is as important as understanding the design principles. When you buy a car, the first thing you do before driving off the dealer's lot is to look for and understand the function of the controls and indicators. You do this because you know deep down that the minute you drive away, a torrential rainstorm is bound to strike. So rather than fumbling around for the wiper switch in the middle of traffic and having an accident, you know immediately where and how to engage the wipers. You should approach construction equipment with the same care. All skid steer loaders are not alike, so have your dealer explain the instrument panel and the control systems. You'll find that all of the operating controls for a skid steer loader are inside the cab, and that's where they should be operated from. Never try starting the loader while standing outside the cab. And never try operating any of the hydraulic controls while standing outside of the cab. This is dangerous. The steering levers control forward and reverse travel and are also used to turn the loader. As you found out in our discussion on hydrostatics, move these levers slowly to start moving. On Bobcat loaders, the steering levers are also used to control auxiliary hydraulics. Your operation and maintenance manual explains how the levers are used to control the various attachments that use the auxiliary hydraulic system. The foot pedals control the lift arm and the bucket or attachment. Pushing on the top of the pedals is referred to as towing, and pushing on the bottom is referred to as heeling. Tow the right pedal to tilt the bucket forward, and heel the pedal to tilt the bucket rearward. Heel the left pedal to raise the lift arms, and tow the pedal to lower the lift arms. Towing the left pedal all the way forward until it locks into detent places the lift arms in the float position. Always drive in reverse when the lift arms and bucket are in the float position. For safety reasons, whenever you are operating the loader, keep your feet on the pedals. If your machine has hand hydraulic controls, keep your feet on the footrests. Located between the two control pedals is the parking brake. Never exit the loader without first lowering the lift arms and placing the attachment flat on the ground. Stop the engine. Apply the parking brake. Release the seat belt, raise the seat bar, and move the pedals or hand controls until they lock. The throttle is located at the right side of the operator's seat. Engine speed is controlled by moving the throttle forward to increase the engine RPM and backward to decrease the RPM. Before we show you how to operate, we want to point out the safety features found on most skid steer loaders. Many of the safety features on a Bobcat are built into the design, but there are some safety features that are the responsibility of the operator to be aware of and to use. Because we come in all shapes and sizes, all Bobcat skid steer loaders are equipped with adjustable seats. The controls won't do you much good if you can't reach them. There's also a seat belt that must be worn every time the loader is operated. Adjust the buckle so that it is centered between the hips and that the belt fits snugly around the hips. In addition to the seat belt, a seat bar restraint system is a feature on all Bobcat skid steer loaders currently being manufactured. Seat bar kits are available for older model skid steer loaders. The seat bar provides additional operator restraint in the down position, but the seat belt must always be worn. Interlocks require the operator to lower the seat bar before he can operate the loader. The bar also has armrests for operator comfort. So not only is this a very important safety feature, it helps reduce arm fatigue and thereby increases productivity. Melrose commitment to provide the latest innovations in safety technology has led to the development of the lift control system and the Bobcat interlock control system. These systems require the operator to be seated with the seat bar down before certain machine functions can begin. The lift control system contains a seat bar sensor. The seat bar must be lowered all the way down, the engine started, and the lift arm operation button momentarily pressed before the lift arm hydraulic system will be activated. If the seat bar is raised or the engine is shut off during normal operation, the lift arm hydraulics will be deactivated. After you lower the seat bar and restart the engine, press the lift arm operation button again momentarily to reactivate the lift arm hydraulic system. If the engine cannot be restarted, the lift arm bypass control can be used to lower the lift arms. With the operator in the seat, seatbelt fastened, and the seat bar fully lowered, pull and hold the bypass control knob. Push the top of the left pedal, and the lift arms will slowly lower. Never exit the loader when the lift arms are unsupported in the raised position or the engine is running. The Bobcat interlock control system, called BICS, requires the operator to be in the seat with the seat bar down before the loader's lift and tilt hydraulic system will be activated, and the traction drive system can be operated. The BIX controller is located inside the cab. After you start the engine, check the 5 lights on the controller. If any light is not lit or is blinking, it means that there is a problem within the BIX system. Refer to your Operation and Maintenance Manual for instructions about proper maintenance and inspection procedures for the BIX. Now, because you must be in the seat before the BIX will allow the traction drive to operate, a traction lock override has been provided for special circumstances. Push the button on the left-hand side of the instrument panel to override the traction lock when using the backhoe attachment or when servicing the loader. With the engine running, push the button again to re-engage the traction drive lock and return the loader to normal operation. Like the lift control system, the BIX has a lift arm bypass control knob for lowering the lift arms in the event that the lift arms cannot be lowered during normal operating conditions. With the operator in the seat, seatbelt fastened, and the seat bar fully lowered, pull and hold the bypass control knob. Push the top of the left pedal or the appropriate lift arm control, and the lift arms will slowly lower. Never exit the loader when the lift arms are unsupported in the raised position or with the engine running. Your instructor will demonstrate these and all of the safety features found on a Bobcat loader. If you look around the cab, you will see clearly printed decals that are precautions about the safe operation of the skid steer loader. Read and understand these precautions before you begin operation. Melro also attaches the Bobcat Operator's Handbook in every cab, and each loader comes with an Operation and Maintenance Manual and the EMI Skid Steer Loader Safety Manual. Your Bobcat loader is equipped with a ROPS and FOPS approved cab. These acronyms stand for Rollover Protective Structure and Falling Object Protective Structure. This structure should not be removed or modified. If the structure is damaged, replace it. Melro Company recommends that all skid steer loaders, including older models, be equipped with a ROPS. See your Bobcat dealer for more information on the availability of ROPS for older machines. A secondary exit has been provided in the form of a removable rear window. If for any reason your exit is blocked to the front, pull the tag on the rear window to remove the seal. Push the window out and exit. We mentioned a few moments ago that maintenance was a major consideration during the skid steer design process. The lift arm support is another safety feature. All regular maintenance and service work can be done with the lift arms lowered and the attachment resting on the ground. However, if for any reason repair work needs to be done with the lift arms raised, use the lift arm support. To use the lift arm support, disconnect the spring and remove the retaining pin. Hook the spring to the support and then let the support rest on top of the lift cylinder. Start the engine and raise the lift arms until the support rests on the lift cylinder rod. Now lower the lift arms until the support is held between the lift arm and the lift cylinder. Stop the engine, raise the seat bar, and move the pedals until they lock. Install the pin at the rear of the lift arm support. To release the support, remove the pin and then connect the spring to the bracket below the lift arms. Start the engine, raise the lift arms until the lift arm support lifts off the cylinder rod. Lower cylinder arm. the cylinder. Stop. And move until they lock. Disconnect the bracket. Move the position and then in. Connect pin and you are done. Check with the